Okay. He made the allegation, that's true. He made the allegation, but I don't think this is a venue for us to really, to point it. I know what he did, but what I'm saying, I'm taking this venue to discuss. If that you want to know, then maybe you can schedule a meeting with him, along with the chief and others, to provide that specific information. Or what you want is specific information and names and so on. And that's what I don't think he wants. I don't think it's a venue to disclose that information. All right? So I want to just share. I'm not saying that shouldn't happen, but there should be a venue to make that happen. And you can have Pat, yourself, the chief, and others who need to be there to, as he discloses that information. And then you can research what see if there's any validity to it. But I just wanted to share that, okay? Excuse me?
I'd like to add simply this.
Go ahead.
When we had our first meeting at the library, the issue was raised that it was very difficult to file a complaint with our agency. We have websites, we have 911. If you have a complaint, you can call 911 and say, I have a complaint. It's going to go to the appropriate supervisor, and it's going to be investigated because we're an accredited agency. We investigate any allegations or wrongdoing in any of our officers, correct? The allegation was made that it's very difficult to make a complaint. It is not difficult to make a complaint in our agency. It's very, very easy. But the die was cast through that meeting that it's difficult, and it is not. You know, I review complaints all day long. Every supervisor in this agency has done an investigation. We're tenfold because we police ourselves. Now, from that time till now, the gentleman that just stood up and said there's about 10 bad officers. I haven't seen or heard or anything. Now, Lieutenant Beskane spoke a minute ago about officer professional standards. There's many people in here that work in that office. Many people still do work in that office. I don't know if specific allegations were made. But when you say things like that in this kind of a forum, all you're doing is stirring the pot. We're not coming together to correct the problem. All we're doing is instigating more issues. You know, this is a professional agency. We hold ourselves to a very high standard, training and in our actions, and what we do to service this community. We reach out to the community on a daily basis. These ladies right here with light blue shirts. Hey, I don't know if anybody else from crime prevention is here. We have community watch groups. We have people throughout this community that participate daily through emails, telephone calls, weekly through meetings, and they get educated. And they're the people that are telling us, hey, we have problems in our neighborhood. Whether it's black, white, Hispanic, they're the ones that are out there. They're telling these ladies, they're telling us through our line of communications, through our website, through the city server that goes to the city manager, that goes to the chief, that comes back to the respective supervisors to address the issues. We're wide open. We don't have anything to hide. We never have. We explain our numbers. We put our numbers out there. You know, anybody that knows anything about statistics knows you can sit there and skew a statistic to make it look bad, to try and prove your point. We've shown what we've got. We invite people to look at our stuff. We have a website. We have Nixon. We have Facebook. We share with the community. We have nothing to hide. The point is, when we make comments like that, in this venue, as open as we're trying to be as an agency, and we have an individual going to make a comment like that, it's very aggravating because we don't have anything to hide. We're trying to make this community better. I think we're doing a pretty good job because if you look at the crime statistics, if we want to talk about numbers, our numbers continuously fall. It's not because we're doing a bad job. I mean, that didn't just happen. It's because we have competent police officers and competent training and competent tactics that defend us. So we have someone undermining the agency that's doing a great job in this community. It's very upsetting to everyone in this room that works hard 10 to 12, 14 hours a day. And when you say 10 officers are bad, you better be able to back it up.
But thanks for your comment. What I want to do is move on. And yes, you're right. Yes, the comments made. Yes, it aroused not only the officers, but possibly other people too. And there's a venue to address that. I don't think that this is the venue to do it right now, as I pretty much told him. It's the same thing to both of you. this is not the venue to do it right now. But if that's the case, there's a way to do it, and I suggest the way this can be handled.
I'm sure the new observer will.
Excuse me? I want to move on to probable cause, and I think the definitions there regarding to probable cause is pretty much one that you as officers already know, but does the community know and understand that this definition?
Mr. Adams, we have
Yes.
a community member that wants to speak.
Oh, okay, yes. Okay, she.
I think the police officers are doing a very good job.
Yes.
A very good job.
Yes.
I don't think it's going by color, black or white. Because if they stop searching people, then we're gonna be in trouble. We're gonna be in serious trouble because as crime rises, crime gonna rise more. Because if they need to say, well, we ain't searching nobody. If they have to search for a proper cause, they have to do it. Regardless of what color you are. It just has to be done. So I feel like the police officers are doing a good job.
Yeah, let's be clear that I don't think that the statement that was made about the stop and the searches basically saying that officers is not doing their job. I think only thing what they're saying, I want to make sure I put this out here, because just as much as the officer back here made his concern about the statement that this gentleman made, all right, and asking for proof, the same thing is the fact that this gentleman here, made the statement because for some reason he believed that. But thirdly, let's don't get in a situation where that what's happening here, that the interpretation in regards to what the issue is, get distorted to the point that it's all, focused on the officers are actually bad. Keep in mind is this, what I heard is that a report came out from the state, I believe. I think it was the state. And when it was released, the community read it. And they wanted to know, okay, if that is true, based on the data that the North Carolina Department of Investigation, whoever it is, released, then it appears that there may be a problem. And if so, then how can we address it? How can we work to either correct the report or redress the high percentage? Okay. Okay. Excuse me?
Is it the community that wants this, or the one or two people that have the concern?
Well, that's just it. See, is it a community or one or two people? But I should tell you this: sometimes one or two people may communicate on behalf of those community members that have the concern. Now, tomorrow night you may hear something different. Tomorrow night, okay? So that's one of the reasons that I came to your meeting at the library to kind of hear what the community perspective was. Yes, sir.
Problem with making sensationalized comments like there's 10 bad cops in the department that are police profiling is that becomes the headline in the paper the next day. And all of our officers then, this thing is working. All of the officers in this room then are faced with trying to react to those kind of comments instead of doing their job. And it makes their job much more difficult.
All right. Okay. And you're right. It does create that problem. It does create that problem.
This venue is to talk about the issues, not to point fingers.
Right. That's why I say wasn't here to point fingers. But that's why I wanted to move on with the train so we can finish. The train, I think it's about 11:30 now, so I'd like to move on. It's all possible. Okay? Okay. Excuse me. All right.
Can I make a comment?
Okay. All right. Let's hear from the state if I haven't heard from her.
Before we start using statistics to try to say this is what's happening, we need to find out where these statistics are coming from.
Yeah.
Point blank. Because we need to say from January 2011 to January 2012, we did this study and it entailed going into this neighborhood 10 or 11 officers or 100 officers. We need to follow it through. Before we make generalized statements about that, we need to find out where are these statistics coming from and where these ratios are coming from. Point blank, because as Captain Spyrico just said, you can manipulate numbers all day long. And we need to be careful before we put those numbers out there, because we make inflammatory statements, as was previously stated, which kind of offended a lot of us out here to do an honest job.
A point well taken, because we definitely want to know where this data is coming from. And then, not only that, it's how the data is reported out. And see, that creates another problem. Let's, excuse me, go ahead. You haven't said anything all day. Let me give you the mic.
I don't need one. I talk pretty loud. I'd also like to not have generalizations anymore. Rather than here, I was told by so-and-so that I was stopped and I was stopped at such and such. We need to hear I was told by James Smith that I was stopped on January 1st by officer so-and-so. We can't deal in generalizations anymore.
Okay, let's stop there. Let's go ahead and take a 5-minute break, and then come on back in. Get started.